you're joining me midway through a day because I've been busy working on the front end and I've not really filmed a lot because it's been a lot of thinking and figuring out, and then the doing part involved a lot of sparks, so I didn't want to destroy another camera. But I've nailed it and it's pretty damn awesome. So yeah, I figured out how to securely mount the bars flipped, because obviously if you're just joining on the standard bike, the bars are up here, and the way that they stay up there, I've chopped this now, I'll explain that in a minute, but you see the fork comes through, then this piece used to sit there. This has like a knurled edge that marries up with that. That goes onto there, and then a bolt underneath and a bolt on top of the forks. But obviously that looks pants. So I wanted to mount them underneath because they're quite nice bars. I've ground all the paint off, bare steel. I think I'm going to leave them like that actually. They're a nice angle, they're a nice shape, but I needed to obviously mount them safely because, you know, don't want to die on the bike. A handlebar coming off or something. So what I've done, let's bring you in a bit closer. I've been scratching my brains on this for most of the day, or most of the morning anyway, trying to figure out how to do it. And what I've come up with is, so this part used to be bigger, and that'd sit across like that, and then the fork would come through. So I've cut this into a fork shape, and this now sits underneath and goes around the fork like that. The only real reason I need this part is for that knurling, and also it's a spacer so the bars sit a bit lower. I don't know if you saw that, so yeah. This is that part, used to sit there, now it's going underneath. So I'll tell you what, let's pull this apart so you can see. So what I've had to do is fabricate a new piece. Because if I pull this top nut off, so this is what holds the fork tube actually onto the yoke. So you see, that little spindle comes through there and that clamps down. So if I pull this out as well, I've had to make this new plate. It still needs neatening off a bit, just to, you know, make it look a bit prettier. But basically, that's how it goes together. The fork sits in there. There is a rib in there. I don't know if you can see that. Is that in focus? Probably not. So it butts up against that, so it can't come through anyway. See? But this is just cast alley. Now, you know, there's obviously a reason why they put this big wedge of steel up there. Is it to support it? Is it to make sure there's a steel connection between the bars and the forks? Because if you don't have something there, you're just relying on this little piece of alley here to keep you alive, basically. Because if that snaps and you go down, that's it, you're coming off. So what I've done is made this plate. This is pretty good steel, 2.5mm. So it's basically what was on there before. And this is going to do the same job. So it's making a mechanical connection between the bar, a steel connection, sorry, between the bar and the fork. So it's a lot more secure. And you see, so that bit goes on the bottom like that, slides up, and then you got the knurling. So now, once that's clamped down, the bar can't turn, because that was another issue I was going to have, is how to make sure that the bars don't spin, you know. So yeah, there we go. I would call that pretty well figured out. Colours wise, I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. Bars are stayed silver. May, if I clean these up a bit nicer, I may keep them as exposed steel as well. I think this bit's going to go black. That's why I've not bothered sanding it all off. I've just took off the parts where the paint was a bit dodgy. But yeah, so I think this is going to look epic. I've trimmed down the yoke as well here, because this had some other little brackets for the old clocks. Obviously we don't need them, because we're just going to have that one central clock here, which I'll have to figure out how to mount, but I'll probably use these. That's why I've left it on. The key's not going up here either, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned that. The key's going to go somewhere down the side of the bike, which does mean it's not going to have a steering lock, but, you know, probably wouldn't really want to leave this bike anywhere anyway, if I'm honest. So, aesthetics over practicality in that case, but, you know, I've had my commuting time on this bike and that is long done. What I do need to do is make another one of these, so I'll try and film that process a little bit. It's pretty easy, just cut it out, bore the 2 holes, give it a grind down. I've just got to hand file the curve on this just to get it perfect. So I'm going to start off by scribing out what I want onto this piece of steel here. We've already got a little hole in it there, so that's actually going to come in handy. So we'll try and centralise that as best as we can. Just using a compass to scribe this. Usually works pretty well. Sorry if you can't see a lot. We don't need to mark this hole because I know that that's in the middle, and I just need to bore it out to 20mm. So there we go. There's our piece. Now I'm going to do the rough cut with an angle grinder, just across here, and then do the rest on the bench grinder. pretty much knackered as well. Some new bits. Right, so I just took a bit of time to clean up these other components, the nuts and stuff. I'm just going to do a dry run now to make sure everything fits together, and then can get it sprayed. I'm excited about this. This was bothering me a bit because I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I think we've managed to crack it. So this piece first. Then the spacer. Then, oh god, nearly knocked the whole lot over. So then that nut will go on the top. Oh, that looks good. I'm not sure what these are coated with, but it's like a dark metal. I've blasted them on the wire wheel. And we got the bar. That looks so good. You can't believe that it's the same front end. Okay, that right there, let's try and get them pretty much lined up. That is awesome. Nope. Righty-tighty, Pollard. That clamps down well. That looks right. Oh, that's epic. how clean that looks. And then what we're going to have is that somewhere around there. I love all the steel when this is gloss black as well. I'll give you a front perspective if you can see that.